Hey, Trevor.
Hey, oops. There we go. There we go. Okay. Are you recording it?
What was that?
Wait, are you recording it?
Am I recording it? I am not. I think there should be a meeting setting somewhere that allows you to record it for Zoom, but I don't know how.
It says you're recording. It's weird. It's
It
like,
says I am? Oh,
yeah. It says
oh
stop
yeah, I see
recording.
top left. It says recording, but I don't know how that happened.
I must automatically be doing it. It's weird. Okay.
Oh, I see on the
There.
bottom, like in the bottom middle, it says record.
Yeah, I have.
For me right now, I don't have it saying anything. If I click
Yeah,
on it, I believe it'll start.
I guess it's recording because it has a recording. Did you get a notice when you hopped on it? We're recording. Hey,
I
Carson.
didn't actually. No.
That's weird. It says recording, and it's not allowing me to record, so I'm assuming it is good to record. I guess it's okay. Yeah, they want to make sure we recorded it. So perfect. All right. Let's see. Very strange. Okay, perfect. So, Carson, are you on yet?
Yeah, I'm on. Do I look good?
Yep. Awesome. Good job. So I'm thinking I can either share my screen with the questions or I can just put them in chat. I want to keep it as possible.
Okay. I also have the document with everything, so it's.
I think I changed the format a little bit to make it a little more friendly. Let me see. We're overview for when I have the overview of your organization structure and function and school esports program, I lumped all 4 questions into that segment. The proudest moment, what game titles do you support, what's your most successful games, any surprise standout games, and your relationship to school administration. Because I was realizing in reading it, it all is one giant group of questions that kind of get to the overview question. So I figured maybe the first half we can talk to schools. Schools can share out variations on those 4 questions, and then the last half we can do more of the community engagement and the strategies and any kind of other questions that come up, and just have an open forum kind of stuff. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense for me.
All right, let me show you what I did. Let me just do this real quick. I think only us can see this chat right now. So let's see. This is what let me do this. That's kind of what I'm looking at. So what do you think?
Looks good. That was posted to everyone. Not really sure if that's an issue.
No, it won't be. Okay.
Okay.
That's why I think. I think as you log in, you won't be able to see it anyway. It's only retroactively anyway. So
Okay.
yeah, I tried. I could have done chat to you. I kind of did a dad moment there. But I think it's fine. But I had your 2 questions are in there. I think that's kind of just the basis for this conversation, and we'll see where it goes. Because I honestly really want you all to kind of lead the conversation and take it where whatever you think are the best tools and things you want to share. Because it's kind of that's kind of the nature of a roundtable. Let's see. We got more people showing up. Ray Wong. Let's see. I'll let Ray in. She's one of mine. Gregory or Toe. I don't know him. I'm gonna hold off on letting them in. I think I'm gonna let Liam in if he shows up. Do you have anybody else coming in, Carson, from CU?
No, it's just me representing us.
Okay. Good.
Hi.
Hey Ray, how's it going?
Good. How are
Quick
you?
question. Good. Do you see the chat question, the questions in chat? Is the chat empty for you, or do you see the questions?
It's empty for me.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So I'll post them one more time when we get going. So all good. So Carson, do you have any more like last minute thoughts? I mean, are you okay with this format of being a kind of structured but loose?
Yeah, that works for me. I'm pretty flexible with everything for the most part.
Yeah. I feel like my experience with you all, you have a lot to say, and I think if it gets off track, we can kind of interject and say, hey, let's park that, or we spent 10 minutes on it, let's move on. But in general, I think I want to hear the energy in the room and see where everybody's at. And if it goes well, my thought process is, if this goes well, we could do a couple of these before the end of the year and maybe actually have specific topics. Because we're not going to be able to cover everything esports tonight. But if people are really wanting to talk about current best practices or what the future of esports, we could have special meetings about that as well. So I'm open to just seeing where this conversation goes. I'm just kind of excited to pull it out of the administrative conversation of the Pac-U meetings and more on the student leader conversation. So that's really what I'm focusing on tonight.
Yeah, sounds good. I need to go quickly grab my bike until I forget about that, but I'll be back.
Yep.
Hopefully before 8.
Yeah, we'll see you when we see you. You guys okay? Just hang out, speak if you want. If not, just absorb. I don't know what to expect. Just sort of, whenever possible, interject with what you can remember the WGA was doing, and kind of just feel free to kind of just step in when you want.
Yep, sounds good.
Here, I'll send you the questions again, Ray, so you know what's going on. That's the prompt. I just sent it to you, Ray. Did you see it? Did you get the questions?
I can't seem to see it.
Maybe, okay. What's going on if I'm not doing it? Yeah.
I'll send it to Ray on Discord.
Okay. It's on there. It's not sending for some reason. That's weird.
Yep, I sent it to her on Discord. She should have it.
Okay. Might be too big for direct messages. Zoom is a never-learning tapestry of newness.
Yeah.
The recording thing is weird because I didn't set it up to record, but it says it's recording, so I hope it is.
Yeah, in the top left, there's like a red button and it says recording. So.
Yeah, but usually it gives you all a warning saying this session is going to be recorded. So the wonders of Zoom. So we'll see where this goes. Hopefully people will show up. If you all want to, maybe rename yourselves with UW, like I just did, or WGA. Do you hear me?
How do you name yourself in
You go to your photo, and then you have the 3 dots. Click on the 3 dots, and it says rename.
I don't actually see that option in mine.
Oh, do I have to do it, really?
Yeah, it might be a host setting to allow them to name themselves or not.
Did I just do that? Really? Hope I didn't set it up well, we'll see what happens. Jason is on.
Hey, Jason. Oh, he's plugged in now. Hey, Jason.
Hey,
Hey, Jason.
how's it going, guys?
Good. I need to send you the questions. I'll send it to you on. Do you have Teams up as well?
No, but I can get it up real quick.
All right. I just sent you the questions on Teams. Those are the questions I'm gonna pose to the group. I'll put it in chat once everybody gets on board.
Okay. Are you gonna post all the questions up front or one at
Yeah.
a time kind of thing?
I'm
Okay.
just gonna post them up front. I'll just keep reposting them as it goes.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out. So, are you able to rename yourself, Jason? We're trying to figure that out right now. I don't know if I just screwed up and didn't.
No, yeah, that is a setting.
Oh, I just reset it. I just did
Oh,
it.
sweet. Really cool.
So try it now, Alex.
Yep. Yeah, you can now. Yep.
I'm a genius. I am.
I didn't know you could do it after you started the meeting. That's awesome.
Yeah, you learn more things. I'm a Zoom genius.
Where is
I
it
know I
at? I know, I'm impressed, dude.
Ray got it. Good job, Ray. So Alex, your turn. Perfect.
Where did you change the setting?
You go in security.
Oh, nice. Sweet. Good to know. Good to know.
Okay, we'll see how this. I'm doing a lot of improvising, so we'll see where this goes. I think I have enough questions to kind of keep a lively 45 minute to hour conversation going. We'll see. All right. Hey, I should probably wait for Carson to come back before I let people in. Hey Carson, we're thinking you have your background, but we're thinking maybe in your name rename yourself with your school letters.
Sure. Is that before or after my name?
Either way is fine. Probably after is fine.
Yeah, probably after.
That way we all kind of know who we are.
Okay.
All right, I got 3 people in the waiting room. I'm going to admit them right now.
Oh, cool.
Hopefully we'll have more. So. Welcome everybody. Hey, if you just logged in, if you could, I think someone just figured it out. If you can add your school letters to the back of your name, that way we know who you are, who you rep. That'd be really cool. UW in the house. Wow. UW representing, nice.
I know, nice. I like it.
Let's see. So we're going to hold off for a few more minutes because and get some more people on the call. So. Okay, admit. Welcome, Andreas. If you could do me a favor and put your school tag on the end of your name, just so we know who you're representing, that'd be great. A few more people roll in, so bear with us as we slowly get the thing started, y'all. Hi, Emma, welcome.
Hi.
If you can go ahead and put your school tag on the end so we know who we have the pleasure of speaking with.
Yeah,
Represent
Trevor.
you.
Trevor,
Yeah.
go ahead and make me a co-host too, so I can admit people in.
That'd be cool.
While you're talking.
That's a good idea. Thanks, Jason.
Oh, sure.
Boom, you're a co-host.
All right.
Use your power.
The power.
Use your power wisely.
Exactly, right?
Don't let it go to your head.
Too late.
Jason takes over the meeting. Let's see, okay. Awesome, Liam. Hi. We got 1, 2, 3. I think Gregory's still, figuring stuff out. I think Gregory's still connecting, it looks like. Hey, Tyler, welcome. Toss your handle, your UW representation on the back end with UW in parentheses. That'd be cool. So I'll give it a few more minutes. Sorry about this.
Trevor, do you mind if we invite like just students, or do we want to keep this to leaders only?
Students are fine.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, bring on board whoever who you think will contribute to the conversation, by all means. I have no expectations for this meeting.
Yeah, Liam,
Hey,
it'd be great. It'd be great if we had a good blend of student leaders and just students that are looking to be leaders or looking to learn from leaders, for sure.
Yeah. For everybody who just popped on, we're asking you to put your school representation in parentheses behind your name. And this is the question was asked in chat, but this is casual. Come and go as you need to. There's no I'm not doing a roll call. We're not gonna hold it against you if you have to bail at 7:30 or whatever. Just contribute as much as you want. Contribute and absorb as much as you want. This is the first. We're seeing how this goes for the first time. Super cash. All right. Let's see. I'll give it one more minute. I'm gonna give it till 7:10, and we'll get started. Thanks you all for making time.
Yeah, this is awesome.
All right. And we're going to start with, I have a couple prompts of questions that we can start with for discussion points. If we exhaust those or find those not helpful, I'm happy to kind of take this in any direction people on this committee on this board want to share. The thing I've noticed in my time as an administrator working with esports at various schools, every school is in a different place as far as how their community is developed, but every community is crucial to the development of the gaming community and program at every school. So there really are no standardized questions or standardized expectations. Some of us are going to be in different places. So I just really want to use this first meeting to kind of just check in with everybody, see where we're at, see how we're similar, see how we're different, see if, just kind of share ideas, just generally talk. So don't be burdened with any kind of expectations. The first thing I want to do is maybe just briefly go around and introduce yourself. And then the first round of questions are going to be, I'll put them in chat. It's just basically an overview of your program. And did everybody see that? I just put it in chat.
It's not coming up yet.
Yeah,
having
it's
trou-
not popping up
I
again.
wonder if I'm having trouble for some reason. Why am I having trouble posting? That's a weird thing.
You want me to just put them in there?
Can you? Yeah, they're on my chat, and now it's not. Why is it not posting?
You have it set to post to everyone
On where is that at?
at the
It should
bottom.
be.
Like you can choose to just post to certain people or post to
Yeah, it's
everyone.
post to everyone. It's definitely post to everyone.
I can
It's
try
not.
sending it.
Technical difficulties. There we go.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Perfect. So let's start with brief introductions, and then, not everybody needs to speak. Feel free to give an overview of your program, or feel free just to watch. But just one person from every school just kind of give it, or from every organization, kind of give a broad overview, and maybe answer some of these questions. What's your proudest moment for your program? What games and titles are you supporting both officially and at the club level? What are some of your successful games, the most successful games you played? Are there any surprises or kind of outliers to the non-traditional recognized esports titles that you're having success with? I think there are a couple of schools in the room here that have some cool stories, so I'll let them tell those stories, but I'm hoping those come out in this conversation. And then briefly too, if it's appropriate or if it's interesting, what your relationship is to how you fit into the school administration. Are you a student organization only? Are you part of the governance? So just kind of let's maybe go around and kind of do that. Do we want to just do it, speak up, or do you want me to call on people? What do we think? Let's start. Wait, let's start with Carson. Why don't you introduce yourself and you start?
So, hi, my name is Carson. I am the Director of Marketing for Pac-U Gaming and Esports at the University of Colorado at Boulder. Right now, we have two branches, our competitive and casual branches. Right now, our casual branch of our organization just recently hit 2,600 members. So one of the largest student clubs within North America right now. And we also have our competitive branch, 150 players, about 15 or so active teams right now. Currently competing, I think, R6, Hearthstone, Overwatch, Valorant, CSGO, COD. Might be missing a few, but that pretty much covers it. We're the go-to place for gaming esports at CU and for the CU system. And we're big, hoping to be varsity at some point soon, but we'll get to that later.
So just to kind of follow up, so you mix casual and game. When you say casual, are you representing just like fun play games like Halo Lands and Among Us and things like that, or casual? It's still competitive casual. Are you overall both aspects?
Pretty much overall both aspects, especially with our events, which hopefully we'll have back up and running come fall.
Very cool. And that's all under one umbrella under your organization then.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
And Carson, Trevor, real quick. Carson, you said you guys have did you say 150 competitive players? Like on your varsity, not really varsity teams, but on your teams?
Yeah, that number fluctuates between spring and fall, with some teams being more active than others. But right now, the baseline is about 150-ish players across our 15 teams.
Yeah. So obviously, I want to point that out for the other schools and even UW. We love, Carson, what you guys are doing in Colorado. We love that you're setting the bar so high. You and Utah just really setting the bar high for all of us to things that we can look forward to, right, in the coming years of really having a lot of players on the team. I mean, that's just amazing what you guys are doing there. So definitely want to point that out. I just love what you guys are doing.
Very cool. I am going to thank you, Carson. I'm going to ask Emma. Are you available to talk? Because you have to leave early on to make sure you get a chance.
Yeah. Wait, one moment.
Sorry, I didn't mean to catch you off guard.
No, sorry, I'm just eating my dinner.
Oh, sorry, all good. So, do you want to give us a little update of what USC is up to?
Yeah, so I am the current president and one of the founders of USC's streaming club. So I started the club this semester. It's called SC Live. Basically, I just wanted to create like an environment where other streamers, people that watch streams, can kind of come together and collaborate and bounce ideas off of each other. And it's not only just for streamers, it's also for viewers, moderators, like graphic designers, sort of everyone that plays a part within the streaming ecosystem. So I personally stream, as I have to go at 8. I'm going to be going live, but I really I'm blown away by just the amount of support I've gotten so far this semester. We already have like 60 plus active members. We have bi-weekly meetings. Which range from having like just sort of like games. We play some just games together, just bonding. So we can have some offline time to get to know each other. So then when we're collaborating on stream, then we kind of already have like a dynamic and like something going on there. And then we also have workshops. I think one of my proudest moments is I've hosted a workshop on setting goals, and I really liked how it went. We record all the meetings, kind of have our own like storage of all of that, like PowerPoints and stuff. And hopefully in the years to come, we can, expand our audience and be able to get it out onto maybe a wider platform via YouTube, something like that. We just basically want to help. I want to help. My mission, I guess, with SE Live was to be able to help people that are interested in streaming or that are currently streaming but are smaller. This can be like people that are in the esports teams, also people that are just doing it for fun. You don't even have to play games to stream, which a lot of people don't know. So yeah, sort of just want to provide the resources and the support to help get everyone started. And we play like SE Live. We do a bunch of different games. There's people that play like everything from like Minecraft to Valorant. It's really big right now. Among Us. We play just like about every game in the book. And it's a lot of fun. As I said, we're pretty new this semester, so we're not super involved in the USC games yet, but we're hoping to integrate further into USC games, which is like the USC school for games, as you would expect. And yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. I'm just curious, do you all also have like an official club level esports? USC Games is probably your official arm. Do you have a club level casual gaming club and the esports club as well? Or is this sort of just, how's that work?
Yeah, so we don't have, so SE Live doesn't have its own like esports club yet, but we do have a Valorant team at USC, League of Legends team, Overwatch, I think, and probably some other ones. I'm not too sure about that, but I know the Valorant team at least is looking to sign deals soon with some big, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say it, but with some bigger name teams, and it's like they're getting pretty serious. So y'all can keep an eye out for that. We'll see you guys in the matches. Yeah.
Very cool. So you're hoping to sort of align yourself and be the broadcasting arm of sort of the collegiate program down there, and have the streaming set up then, both on like a single person content creator and also supporting whatever the esports comes up as well, type of thing.
Yeah, like we hopefully will. We're still in the sort of process of figuring out how we want to use SC Live. If it's like we want to just keep it within our own, university circle, or if we want to, broadcast it out to, the greater world. And I think sort of we're leaning towards the latter. I think maybe we have like I think we have a USC Live Twitch account. So I think with like all the competitions and stuff, the collegiate like esports games, hopefully we can stream those out and maybe get like all of our audiences, because SC Live I think we have like 4 or 5 partnered streamers, and like a ton of like followers, sort of aggregated throughout all of us.
Very cool. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that out. We appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Next, I'm looking at either U of A. You guys want to go? One of you all want to step up?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Liam. I'm the president at Arizona Games, or Arizona Esports. Name's getting changed up because of an exciting announcement that we just got greenlit to go varsity. So we're taking a step beyond varsity, and we're actually creating a unique independent department at the university that will be designated for esports. So a little bit outside of your traditional approach for varsity programs. And the goal is to take a more holistic approach to esports, especially at the scholastic level, than competitive. While we do aim to be a competitive program and support competitive gamers on campus, we also want to take the time to horizontally grow our program on campus. So this includes partnering with other departments in the university to do research studies, to anything from physical coaches for players to studying different things to whatever you can imagine, partnering with other departments to do courses relating to esports, aiming for those higher and more grand things overall. But on the club end of things, we've been really focused on this past year or so on buckling down and changing the culture within our club instead of trying to focus on like growth. So we've kind of taken a more individual approach again to a lot of our community members. In the past year, we've started doing a lot more progressive approaches to our members, especially on the inclusivity and diversity fronts. So we've done quite a few charities, as well as just overall taking the time to give educational materials to our club for inclusivity and diversity. When I first took over the club, I'm about to move on. But when I first took over the club, we were pretty small, I would say. And now we're kind of aiming to really make that tilting point in our culture when we're finally getting support from the university to make sure that we're being a front head for inclusivity and diversity in the space, especially for collegiate. So we've always done a little bit more on that front, and that's really what we are. We definitely do have competitive teams though. Our Call of Duty team has been pretty killing it lately for their first season around. And then our Rocket League team, one of them is in here, Matt.
Nice.
Always really taking the time to be at the top. The Rocket League team always kills it, but we're trying to stay competitive and be progressive and kind of take a different approach than a lot of universities do. So making sure that we're innovating in different ways in the space.
Very cool. Thanks for sharing. So are you thinking, so are you perceiving, how are you feeling about the transition? Are you feeling like students will still be in the driver's seat? Is there any nerves about handing off to the staff? Is there going to be a partnership, parallel? What's governance look like? Just how you feeling about life?
Well, I mean, for me, it's always a little bit stressful when these transitions happen. I think the people that are in charge at our university are really headstrong on making sure that they're empowering students that are already building what's on campus. Unfortunately, when you're dealing with like a D1 public state university, like University of Arizona, there's a lot of bureaucratics that get in the way of things like students or undergrads working on the actual governance and program. So I may not be able to continue working in an official capacity with the program, which isn't a huge deal. But I've also been working really closely with, the provost, which is who we're directly underneath on the governance structure of our university. Been working closely with the provost and our current interim esports director to make sure that they're educated on the space and that they have some really cool visions and goals for the program. So I have no doubt that it's going to go in places, but a little bit of a sad moment that I can't continue to work on it.
Yeah, I really like the idea that you focused on the idea of empowering students, and I would suggest that all you as leaders and participants in the student programs, make sure you keep people like myself and Jason accountable for that level of empowerment, where we'll do where we're doing our best to support you all, and you all should still always feel empowered that you're guiding esports. That's the thing that drew me to esports initially, was the fact that it was so grassroots and student empowered. It really wasn't us saying, "Oh, you all should play that video game." It's like you all were telling us what you wanted. So I think empowerment should be something you write on your dry erase board or stick to a wall someplace. You always sort of keep in the front. So thank you for sharing. That's a great perspective. Awesome. So U of A. How about Oregon State? Are you all ready to step up? When do you all want to talk?
Sorry, I'm not actually the officer for esports org. I'm a member.
No,
yeah, I was
that's
just
all good.
told to come here if I wanted to learn more about the esports
No problem.
scene for.
No
Yeah,
wrong
I
answer.
compete for the Counter-Strike team.
Oh, you're on a Counter-Strike team.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, yeah. Just tell us 3 or 4 sentences. What's up with OSU?
Yeah. We're not officially, as far as I know, we're not classified to be sponsored by the school. We don't get any financial backing from the student organization department, but we're still active with, I think, like a couple hundred members in our esports Discord.
Yeah.
And we have few teams, Rocket League, Valorant, Apex, Counter-Strike. Some of them are inactive, but there's people who still play like together. And for Valorant, I think they're the most active right now, as well as Overwatch. But yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, that's about it.
That's great. No, and I will say just as a little plug for Pac-U, that's what we're trying to do, is sort of allow, because I would assume as we're all talking, you're seeing there are various levels of engagement and development. Some of us have fancier backgrounds. Some of us are launching programs. U of A, some CU's hype video this quarter blew us away. They launched this thing. I think he tweeted it out probably in January, and I was like, oh, we're behind the curve on that. Esports is so new. We're all at so different spaces. One of the beautiful things about Pac-U was it allows us to come together and share ideas. And I mean, just as a personal anecdote, your advisor Joe has been active with Jason and I since September, working and learning. And so, there's really no wrong answer right now in this space. It's really about learning and raising everybody to an equal level, so then we can kick each other's butts on the rift or in the arena. But there's no competition here now, and it's like I welcome all voices, and so I definitely appreciate you speaking and realize that everybody's welcome. Even on this call with the UW, I know there's various levels of RSO, student organization engagement. So it's like USC's story, every esports and gaming adjacent program is crucial right now to building out the infrastructure of esports, because no matter how we shape it, we need streamers. We need a Counter-Strike team. We need people to be talking about diversity and inclusion. And we're all approaching it in different ways right now. But I think the end result is to make sure those questions are being answered. Alex on our call here is our broadcasting coordinator for UW, and we're taking more of a get a student involved and then get volunteers to help out approach, as opposed to a streaming club. But I would love to have an RSO streaming club that was dealing with content creation. So I think that's the beautiful part of this. So definitely, thank you for speaking up, and it's awesome. I think we're all, as long as you're on this call and playing video games, you're good. You're good in our book. So awesome. Thanks for speaking. So OSU, I'm trying to think who else. U of A, I think it's UW's turn. So we have two. I kind of know the players in the room, so I know we have two different factions represented. Actually, three. We have our competitive, we have our gaming student organization, and we have our casual club on call. I would say let's hear from all three, if you don't mind, and I'll just sort of let you all who wants to speak up.
I can start on that note. I'm Alex. I'm from UW. I currently work as the broadcasting head for UW Esports, and I actually started out at UW with just the competitive teams, as I'm sure most people would, like either the competitive or casual teams, just playing with people from the community. And after a few years, there was kind of the initiation or the start of a new club at UW. There used to be a lot of smaller communities or RSOs that kind of had a focus on each game, but they're all their own communities. But what WGA was meant to do was kind of pull them all together and organize events with a bigger backing, because if they represent all of the voices of the RSOs, then it's easier to pull or make events. And a result of this is the Husky Gaming Expo, which was a yearly event where WGA would pull in a lot of streamers. They would pull in career talks and have an artist alley and all that stuff, and people would be able to come in. And basically from that position, I actually worked with the broadcasting, or I did the broadcasting for WGA during their tournaments, and then that kind of led into me working with UW Esports now, doing broadcasting because of that experience. And as for the question, my proudest moment in gaming, I would say I went out with my team. I'm currently on the UW Overwatch team, and sorry,
nice.
and we ended up playing with Paladins, and we win. sorry. And we actually ended up going to Atlanta and winning the finals for that tournament with a brand new team to Paladins, 4 members never playing the game before. So that was like a really proud moment for me. And I guess I'll let I guess Ray talk about UW Esports specifically, because I kind of went on about WGA.
Yeah. Wow, that's a big responsibility. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, I'm Ray. I'm a fourth year at UW. Alex, your mic is muted. Okay, sorry. I'm Ray. I'm a fourth year at UW, and I currently work for UW Esports as the multimedia and outreach coordinator. I guess, yeah, I'll quickly go through the questions. My proudest moment is definitely, I'm actually pretty new to like the collegiate esports scene. So, one of my proudest moments is finding like a community that I can be a part of. Because like for the first few years of like my college career, I would say, I definitely wasn't as like social or didn't really reach out to many people. So, esports has really helped me in that way, especially the community. And then when UW Esports arrived as like an official esports program at UW, I thought that was really awesome because it's like a officially sanctioned activity now rather than just a bunch of gamers getting it together, right? Okay, I don't think the next two are relevant. And then, yeah, so to talk more about UW Esports, I don't know if I'm completely qualified to really represent UW Esports like this, but our three pillars are I forgot the order, but it was like community, career, competition. I think that's the order. And I actually deal with all three of those aspects because I am outreach and multimedia. So what I'm trying to do is really to foster growth in all three of those pillars. And yeah, recently our competition pillar has really been taking off with all of our teams. Like, for example, Alex, he's on the Overwatch team, and they're really busy with winning tournaments and stuff like that. So we're really proud to broadcast that on all of our social media channels. Career, this is actually an example of like a career thing that we're trying to foster, really telling people that esports is a viable path, right? Not just in college, but afterwards you can enter the industry and find a job. And then community is kind of what brought us all into collegiate esports in the first place, is because we all love, sorry, one moment. We all love esports. Yeah, I'll pass it off to Kayvon. Sorry, my dad's knocking on my door.
Hi, my name is Kayvon. I'm a third year at UW. Unlike the other two who just spoke earlier, I'm not really too heavily involved with the esports side of things. However, I was one of the event coordinators, or I still am one of the event coordinators for the WGA, or like the Gaming Association of UW. Currently, we're kind of like in hibernation mode, but I would say like my proudest moment, it would definitely be able to being able to like work on the gaming expos that Alex was talking about earlier. Unfortunately, like we weren't able to actually launch it last year since of the whole bad thing. But 2 years ago, when I wasn't actually a part of the club, I got to like volunteer and hang out with a lot of the other people that were pretty hands-on with planning the whole thing, and like I got to actually see all of their work in action while helping out everywhere I could. After that experience, it got me like I wanted to be like more involved in like actually planning this thing, because it was really cool like how they were like maybe like a group of like 8 or 9 people that pretty much put on a huge event for like 1,000 people, where they invited a bunch of streamers, had a lot of successful panels, while also like running a tournament on the side. And that was really cool to see, coming from like someone outside of like that community. And yeah, I was like really wanting to get involved with that. I I'm pretty bad at any of the games that I play, so I'm not involved with any of those like varsity or club sports. I try to like hang out with anyone that is on those teams, but usually it's not going to end up well when I'm on your team. Back in when I tried to go into like esports and all that, I played a lot of Counter-Strike back in high school, but I quickly gave up on that dream. But I still followed it for a really long time. I really enjoyed watching all the esports teams play. I really enjoyed like talking to a lot of the people at UW and like communicating with all the other teams from like different schools when we try to plan events around just like gaming in general. And I think that Alex and Ray some of their points about how much of WJ is actually involved with the school administration. But if you need a little refresher, we're like not too heavily involved. Like we've got Trevor, he's great, but their school's mostly focused on the esports side of things that they've been working on. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We like to throw as many events as we can. Obviously, in-person events work a lot better than online ones. But yeah, hopefully, as soon as like these vaccines get rolled out, we can be a lot more hands-on with things and then plan a bunch more fun in-person events.
Awesome. All right. I don't want to make this too UW heavy, but I got two people that I would mind. Like Tyler, do you have any comments on the actual competition side of the house?
I'm not sure. Like, do you have something that you wanted me to touch upon in particular, or?
Not necessarily. We just want to make sure we had a chance. Tyler represents he's our League of Legends guy, and you were involved with PC Triple Caster meetings quite a bit too, right?
Yeah. So I'm involved, or I guess yeah. So I'm the president of the League of Legends club, and in addition to that, I also manage our collegiate team for League of Legends. So that being said, I kind of do both aspects, both community and competitive for League of Legends specifically. In addition, I was also part of the organization that Kayvon is as their partnerships coordinator. But since Kayvon already talked about that aspect of things, I think I'll focus on the league stuff, I guess, and just to touch upon like I guess the competitive side of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like every single time I talk to a different school, it's I always learn like of a different way that we could be running things. Like no one really does it the same. We kind of touched upon that earlier. That every single school does their own thing. They set up their own system, and I feel like something like this would be good for at least somebody like me to improve upon our own process because not only do we have to like adapt to changes in regulations with like to meet like the standards that Riot gives out. So like for example, in the last year, they changed it so that from having a 7-man roster to like a 10-man roster that we're allowed to change at any point during the season, which is really weird. We weren't used to that. So we had to mix up our whole system to make sure that we were able to accommodate new players who are joining in the middle of the year, the middle of the season, and then have to try and coordinate that with school administration as we had to get players like to sign, player agreements and stuff like that. But yeah, like, I don't know. Basically what I'm trying to say is I feel like stuff like this is really helpful for trying to figure out the best way of going about doing these kind of things.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think honestly, that would be a long-term goal of mine as an administrator, is to put as many different voices in the room as possible. And that's one of the good byproducts of this pandemic and Zoom is we realize that with a click of a button, people from all over the West Coast region can be on a Zoom call real quick, sharing ideas. Where a lot of this stuff, from my experience, came from you had to be at a LAN with somebody or at a convention, or it had to be a traveling kind of conference thing where you spent some time over dinner talking about your teams. And so I do think the goal, I would love to see us further do these sort of summits on a regular basis. And that's really one of the standing tenets of the Pac-U is to compete, obviously to compete and to prove who's the best in the room, but also to try to learn from everybody. I'm really intrigued by what USC is doing with streaming. I love the holistic approach of UA and what they're doing when they're trying to go beyond just the varsity conversation. I mean, CU is. I mean, I think everybody has their own voice to tell. I mean, I think, and they're not represented here, but WSU, Utah, they're bringing it as well. So I would like to continue that conversation. I'm glad to hear you say that, because that's a narrative I think is good. One last little quick, I'll give a props if Christopher, if you or someone else from HGN want to speak up. Christopher represents our Husky Gaming Nation, which is our casual arm.
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm Christopher. You can call me Chris. Like Trevor said, we're sort of like the core social casual gaming RSO at the University of Washington. So I guess you could say we uphold the community pillar of UW Esports. But what we really emphasize is less of direct competition and more of just fostering a community where people can get to know one another and really make a lot of friends just surrounding the idea of gaming, talk about the new games that are being released. We play when we were in person, we were able to play like a lot more of a variety of games because we would set up different gaming stations so people can just walk by with their friends, have a good time, sit down, play a few games, like get some snacks and whatnot, because we really emphasize the social aspect of things. But now being online, we focus towards more like really popular free games. Among Us is obviously the number one contender there, but we've also done other stuff like Codenames and Scribble.io and Team Fortress 2. And it's been going really well. But it's nice we've done work with GW Esports and WGA in the past. We used to have and we had a really big hand in a lot of the big gaming events that would happen at UW, and we played along a big role in that. We did fundraiser activities in the past. I think in the past we also partnered with Ubisoft to show off the new Assassin's Creed game that came out a few years ago. So we really focus just on the core aspect of gaming, which is just to get together and have fun with one another. We've been going on for about 8 or 9 years now, so it's been a really good time. But it's really great to work with the other side of things, specifically with the esports community and competitive community, because there's usually I feel like there's a big trade-off between the casual and the competitive. Sometimes people might enter gaming just casually, just to have a good time, and then maybe they find that they really like one particular game and then go to the esports scene, or conversely, people who are steeped in esports and competition may just want to be able to relax and have a good time and get to meet new people. So we like to kind of be a bridge between a lot of the different clubs at our university, specifically between the social casual clubs and the more competitive clubs. But it's really great to hear a lot of the ideas that people have, because obviously engagement is the biggest thing, and we always try to be as open as possible. Everyone is welcome. That's our big draw. We're very LGBT friendly as well. And so we just try to foster as fun and as relaxed of an environment as we can. So everyone can sort of take that as an opportunity to de-stress from everything that school throws at you. But I know previously last quarter we worked with UW Esports in the Apple Cup event, and it was really awesome to be able to work with WSU and get some people from that that side of the state as well, because at the end of the day, like was previously talked about, we all come together because we just love to play games and have fun. So it's really nice to be here.
Very cool. So we got I have this set up for an hour and a half, but if people want to fade off at 8 o'clock, that's fine too. We have at least 15 more minutes of good conversation. We can go a little later if you want. I think there's one question I kind of like to throw out there that's on my list of questions. Something we can kind of all just, and this is an open question, just kind of speak up if you have an opinion. As an administrator, I do see a tendency to want to kind of categorize, oh, we're casual, or we're esports, or we're streaming, or we're dealing with the philanthropy aspect or whatever. But the one common thread I do see, and I'm kind of curious, I'd like to get different perspectives from different leaders in the room, are how do you keep your membership and community engaged? Because I think that could be everything from recruiting from a competitive scene. How do you get new players? How do you get fan base? From a casual scene, how do you get 25 people to show up on a Friday night to play Among Us? From a streaming perspective, she did leave, but I mean, so various voices, and I'd love to hear from other voices in the room we haven't heard from. How do you keep that momentum and engagement? And what are some successes you've had, and maybe even some failures you've had? It can talk a little bit about COVID and like how you did it during the COVID times, but being as we're kind of getting out of that and there's light at the end of the tunnel, I don't necessarily want to have us focus on what this last year looked like. If that's helpful, we can share some of that information, but I almost want to hear in general, assuming that we're back to normal in the fall, what are some strategies you guys use to keep your communities engaged?
I can talk about this a little bit. We kind of faced a unique challenge pre-COVID with U of A. Clubs are not allowed to have any physical space on campus whatsoever. That's a very strict rule that's kept. So we always had to go through official renting policies and structures to get our rooms, and we were always renting out one of the, because we had to keep accessibility in mind. We also don't want people carrying their expensive computers upstairs and that kind of deal. So we basically only were limited to one room, just happened to be one of the biggest rooms on campus or the biggest lecture halls, and we were already filling that room pre-COVID. So transitioning to an online thing, we expect a large dip. But what we started doing is, one unique thing that we do with our Discord is we use roles as sort of a social incentive to participate in things. So every event that we do has a role associated with it. And you can literally just check into the event. That's how we handle gauging our engagement essentially with our events online, is you check into the event category with just a quick emote reaction, and that'll give you that role. And a lot of people will literally just check in to collect their roles. Like, we have legitimate role collectors in our club. It's a weird dynamic. But we'll also raffle off like limited edition roles. So sometimes at events we'll do like, Wubber Squad or something. Wubber is like our really poorly drawn cartoon spinoff of our university's mascot that everyone has fallen in love with. But we'll do like special roles and that kind of stuff, and we'll use this as raffle items sometimes. Or if people win a tournament that we're hosting at the event, they might get a tournament role. Like, we have a specific event standout roles and that kind of stuff. Creating small instances like that have really been able to keep our community engaged. Because of how our event structure is usually structured, in the spring specifically, we just did one a couple weeks ago, just like a really chill kind of movie night. We tend to end every event with a movie. It just so happens that the community has really stuck on completing the entire Ghibli collection some way through all of our events. So we usually end our events with a Ghibli movie that the community votes on. Another way to create kind of like a more tight-knit continuity in the events. So we did like game nights, and we hosted 3 games. We just did small blocks of each of them, and we had one different representative from the club run each block so people could get a different feel and interact with different people. And then again, we ended up with a movie night. But going back into COVID, or like back onto campus post-COVID, we're going to have our space up and going on campus. So we're going to have our arena, which is going to open up a new pathway for us to be able to engage our community in a different manner. It just so happens that we have like a large conference hall right next to our arena, so we can just have like a BYOC pit and then our arena as well. And that's like a nice duality behind it. But we're also going to try to stay on track to do online events. I think it's just the safest option for most people. And we found that we were engaging a deeper selection and demographic of our community through online events than we were in person. And while we have like a lot of way to go to meet like the inclusivity and diversity stuff that we want for our in-person events, online events have proved to be like a new medium that's really unique for us. And doing those like micro incentives have proven to be really, really helpful, because we've been exceeding check-ins event after event. So
just kind of to kind of go off of that, do you think the idea of online versus in person, do you think that we are going to be dealing with the need for hybrid events, even if allowed to do in person? Do you think the hybrid event is a viable option where you can be in person?
We've kind of dabbled with the hybrid event as well. We have yet to actually do one. they've been pulled off by other people beforehand. Usually they're done in like smaller events or like charity runs. But like one idea we had was early COVID, our university was offering like COVID tests for everyone. So the idea was to get a select, 4 officers, because 3 of them already live together, and have them be tested, confirmed, and then do like a little social distancing LAN in at one of their houses with just those 4 people. And then that LAN is streamed to our overarching Twitch channel, and then people can interact with the chat and that kind of stuff. But creating hybrid opportunities, I feel like, is going to be the future for a lot of collegiate campuses, just because I think we're shifting to an era where online and remote learning is going to become more popular.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say when everything is going to go back to being 100% normal. But I think creating opportunities for online events is only just going to grow a lot of people's audience. So
very cool. Anybody else have thoughts? Does that resonate with people? Any counter anecdotes, or just anybody want to share out on that same line?
Yeah, it's really brief, but I actually did notice, I talked to a couple of the officers that the League Club had picked up in the most recent year, and actually a significant number of them signed up because things had moved to online. So there's like a lot of students who commute to get to UW. So on campus activities and stuff that are typically held by clubs aren't really an option for them, especially when, they've been here for 8 hours, they just want to go home. So the fact that things have transitioned into an online environment where they can, go home, or I guess stay at home and just be a part of a club in that way, actually attracted a decent bit of interest, at least in that regard.
Very cool. Anybody else have any tips for on in community engagement and keeping your building and keeping your clubs motivated? I mean, I know, and Christopher, I'm going to pick on you a little bit. Feel free not to answer, but you all had a great job, doing a great job keeping continuity during COVID, and also pre-COVID. You were pulling 45, 50 people in a residence hall dining room to play, LANs and Dance Dance Revolution and whatever else you were doing. What are your thoughts on that? How did that happen? And to that being said, other schools, are you having, before COVID, were you seeing good engagement when you set up a LAN or set up a Smash night or a board game night, that sort of thing? So, Christopher, you want to maybe just brag a little bit?
Yeah, like the big thing that our club would do is that, especially in person, when we had more control over what games we would play, we would always set up theme nights like every other week or so. So we would switch between general nights and theme nights. And so having the ideas like, like a really popular one, a surprisingly popular theme night we had was Monkey Night, where we just played like monkey themed games. That sounds kind of ridiculous, but a lot of people were really on board with the idea, and it ended up being super successful. And so a lot of the officers talk fondly about that. But having it, so like having variety, I think is a really big thing in keeping consistent community engagement. So it's not just the same old, and even now online, we always talk about how popular Among Us is, and it's still really popular. But at the end of the day, if you keep playing it for like several hours every Friday for like every single week, it can get a bit stale. And so something that I think has been really good is just giving the people who come to your club choices for like what they want to play. So we always send out a newsletter like every Monday, every Tuesday, where we have a list of different games, and people are able to react with emojis in the Discord server to vote for what games they want to see, and want to play. And conversely, also what streams they might want to have. They might want to see the officers play, because we have at least 1 or 2 officers like stream one of their favorite games every Friday as well. And so that way, like if people are, even too busy, or they have other stuff going on so that they can't come for the whole event, or like they can't play as much as they want to, they can always still have the stream on the side there and engage with the officers that way, and like form community through that. And we've had some like really popular streams, like everyone loves Undertale, Smash Bros, World of Light, like Nuzlocke, Pokemon Nuzlocke randomizers, all that sort of stuff. It's really nice to have this community where the people, non-officers who attend, feel like they have a say in what we get to do. So there's been like pros and cons, like for being in person and online. Like in person, we would usually be the ones to choose what we would play and set up the theme nights, which made things more unique. And we were also able to hold like a little competition that we would call the Omegathon at the end of each quarter, where it's a gaming competition in the least competitive sense that you can think of, in the sense that we choose really obscure games that no one has ever heard of, and we don't announce it ahead of time. So it's really just like good luck and see how far you get in there. But because it's so, I think for both online and in person, just being able to have variety, have different options available, make the people feel like they're actually engaging in what they're able to do, really draws them in and helps keep them in. And so that's how we've been able to stay afloat. And I also agree a lot with what Liam said previously, in the sense that going forward, we'll probably try to maintain like a hybrid model, because doing things online creates like such a low barrier of entry that more people are able to engage that previously they may not have been able to commute on campus to like the great room in order to play in these in-person events. So I think being able to balance those two aspects going forward will be a really good idea for increasing the numbers.
Right on. Anybody else want to comment on community engagement on the kind of the vibe we've been on? If not, I have a plot twist question a little bit. So
I can hop in. Oh, I can hop in really quick. An interesting problem that we noticed was, first off, that our member retention was significantly better pre-COVID. But on the flip side of that, engagement for our events had also kind of fallen off completely. I feel like there's a lot of factors for that. Like, you can only have so many online events, which are mostly just, hey, come play Among Us, hey, play Scribble, for a year, and then expect people to care less for the most part. We are hoping, with safety and Colorado being pretty good with COVID, that we'll be able to hold in-person events. Those were our big drivers pre-COVID. That's how we got our CU's administration to care about us. That's how we got members to join. That's how we got sponsors and all that. We're just looking forward to that coming back, because that was our strength, like our overwhelming strength with our large events each semester, reaching almost 750 members attending. We just want that back, but we're hoping to get that back with our high member retention. Like, to be able to hit that 2,500 member mark and keep it has kind of been the bright spot for our organization this past year. We're hoping, with in-person events, I'm hoping to hit 3,000 members by sometime fall next year. So it's easy to get people, but trying to find them to be engaged when all they can really do is just play Jackbox every other week is kind of hard. But we'll see. We've done a lot.
Definitely. So what I'm hearing, just sort of the clip notes here, I'm hearing variety of engagement, potential hybrid access, being both in person and be able to do it with commuter students. Large scale events are still important for the community engagement piece. So those are all, and then having some level of tchotchkes or giveaways or something I can click on and interact with. It kind of gives me a sense of buying in, whether it's, just some sense of belonging and connection via an emoji on my Twitch page, or some freebie that TESPA get, well, RIP, but some level that a sponsor has given us, a water bottle or something. Those are kind of some key underlying themes that everybody kind of connects with on basic community engagement. Sounds like. Is that a good overview of what I just heard?
Yeah.
Anybody have anything else to add in that regard?
I do want to add something like a little bit different. It's not necessarily got to do with events at all, but it is a little bit of a community engagement. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier in my introduction. One thing that we really like to do, and one thing that has brought out a lot of people, especially on the inclusivity and diversity front, is we host a channel. It's public to anyone. It's called BLM and Pride Positivity. Essentially, anyone can go into that channel and they can just post articles, stories, whatever they want to. And one of our moderators has been really dedicated to posting some really educational information about racism, a lot of like the protests and stuff that are going on, and just providing like really useful things for people to be able to educate themselves. But it also provides like an environment where people feel safe. So like that's a really good way to make sure that people are retained as well, because they're going to feel more safe essentially. And one thing that we're spinning up next semester in order to further our retention is a family system. So this is more targeted at freshmen. Each family is going to be run by someone who's been in the club for a couple years, and these are going to be upperclassmen only. So they're gonna basically adopt like a core family. People can choose what family they want to apply to, and we're making sure that our family leads come from different backgrounds and everything, so that people can identify, or they can identify to a family best. And the goal is to create essentially small pods where people can feel more comfortable and get a more intimate relationship with someone who's experienced on campus. And then the goal is to, over the semester, engage in different goals and activities so that they can kind of congregate into the overall club body. Because let's be honest, everyone has a little bit of jitters hopping into a Discord with, like 1,500 plus people and general chat is zooming.
That's good. Yeah, I that's really cool you're doing that. I think from an administrator, I think one of the best tools. It's almost like the old saying where you get one chance to make a first impression. I think as far as what I take from that and what I would like to have you all think about is, especially when it comes to casual gaming, when I walk into, if I'm new, I'm a freshman, I kind of know what video games are, or I know what board games are, and I walk into a room and if someone's like, hey, come sit down, let me show you how to play this game, or hey, sit down, we have a free spot, or why don't you tank on our Overwatch pickup game here? If my first impression is that and it's welcoming, I'm now part of the community. If my first impression is standing back watching a bunch of people like hardcore focus on what they're doing and they're like, don't bother us right now, we're getting ready to own this dude, you've just pushed me away. And so I think that idea of inclusivity and that idea of welcoming, whether it's a place for me to express myself on a moderated channel or to have a mentor or family, I think that's crucial to this program. And I would like you all to think about that. There are some there are going to be some specific filters on the competitive side. You're going to have to be grandmaster level or above and have to have a kill ratio. So there's going to be not everybody's going to be welcome to the elite teams, but there are, for every elite player, there's someone who can still grind and can still play. So that's the balancing act I think esports is going to be uniquely challenged with, is that idea of celebrate the elite. And then when we looked at our model, we looked at the pyramid structure of the elite people, and there's several people in this room who we consider elite. You're the 1% of that pyramid. You're the ones that are going on the streams. You're the ones that are playing in the Riot tournaments. You're the top 6 Overwatch players. There's a place for you, but there's also a place for people who just want to stream content and stream Among Us and stream whatever new game is popular, or just want to stream non-gaming variety show, or just want to cosplay. So I really tip my hat to Liam and your crew thinking about that, because that's really important. And that's one of the coolest things as an older gamer that I've really picked up on. You all are really breaking down stereotypes and like the zones of the way things are. I see it in role-playing games. I see it in the idea of true inclusion is really out there. And I think I'm really excited to see what the next 10 years hold for the idea of inclusivity and what that really means. So that's really cool. So yeah, that's awesome. One last, on a side perspective, is everybody okay is everybody kind of winding down? You want to talk for a few more minutes? Are we good? I don't want to kill you all with a marathon here. Just maybe give me some kind of thumbs up if you want to keep going. I'll keep going then until people start dropping out. From a side perspective, the idea of engagement in community, I kind of want to hear from more of a pro player or a hardcore player. Do you need the same level of engagement, or is your engagement the fact that you want to play League of Legends or you want to play Counter-Strike? So Can someone comment on what drew them? If you came, you weren't the kind of person that got a pickup game, but more of a person who came because they want to specifically play Rocket League or Overwatch. What's that perspective? What kind of engagement do you need, or have you seen has been successful for you?
I guess on the note of like engagement and why I really joined the Overwatch team. I guess my history is, first of all, I was on the Overwatch team. Then I also played for the PUBG team for a bit. Then we did Paladins, and now I'm still on the Overwatch team after 4 years. I'm a senior now, and at first it was really just my drive to play the game. It was just I was interested in playing the game, and that kind of kept me in it. But at a certain point, there was like kind of a turning point where us, the competitive team, we had a little bit of a connection to our RSO as well, and it was like it was more separate. We had a separate Discord for just our competitive team, and then a Discord for the community RSO. But at a certain point, like we found value in kind of talking with the community and like fostering a community where we can help those players like learn and then play with all of the other potential talent from UW, and it kind of like unlocks other people that allowed our team to get better. And when we were in a separate Discord like that, like so away from the overall community, it was one, it was making the community a lot slower because all of the activity was in the competitive players, and two, like it also closed us off from finding potential talent from any of the players. So at a certain point, we did like reintegrate with the Overwatch Discord slash community at UW, and we started like putting a lot of emphasis on the community part, which kind of led us into WGA as well, which we kind of like eventually just went to the whole hive mind of gamers after a couple of years of being on our own.
Very cool. Anybody else have insights? Any other like actual players who want to like speak to their experience? Okay. So I sort of went through the questions that I thought we should be talking about and answering. There is room to talk about strategies on smooth and effective leadership transitions, being as this is sort of the end of the quarter for most schools. You know, how do we move into the fall? If anybody has any insight, I'm sort of I have hope and faith, and trust that my student leaders are going to be transitioning well for fall. But there's also that trepidation of we're moving into having been online only for 14 months. What does the fall look like? Have any of you all thought about what fall looks like and how to transition and how to make sure that you at least have your core membership in the fall and when we go back? Anybody thought about that and what any game plans or nuggets of wisdom you can share?
I mean, for us, we're gonna keep playing it the same. We're finding success in our online events, and it's gonna be cool to have an arena. But I don't think that we want to be known as that collegiate esports program that took one step too early and got a bunch of our students sick.
Yeah, I feel you. I mean, I will say from a general student active engagement professional, I work with all sorts of RSOs. I think the sheer fact that you all are on a Zoom call in April and have been working with your peers, you've done a lot of the groundwork already to that transition. Just having, the thing I said to my students last April, no matter what you do, once or twice a month, get together and talk and be a community. Whether you are a dance group that, even if your bread and butter is going on campus Red Square and doing a dance or renting out, if your whole functionality is more in person, the sheer fact of you stay with your community and talk online is going to be key. And I think it's somewhat of an overstatement, but I think gaming clubs were uniquely set up to go online again, and that's kind of where we came from in the first place. So we've been training for this our entire lives. And my wife jokes with me that being remote, oh darn, I get to play more Xbox and stuff. It's like, so we've been training for this our entire lives. We're not strangers to online and to 20 hours in our basements and whatever the grind is. So I think that was a bonus for us. But I will say, I think you all done a great job maintaining that momentum. And when we do go back in the fall, we can adapt to whatever is presented to us, whether it be a hybrid or whether it be online only or we go back to in person. The fact that you've kind of carried this torch this year, and that was really part of our motivation for our esports program this year, was no matter what we did, at least just play, stream, and tweet. And no matter what we did, make sure our teams were playing. Because next year we can talk more about LANs, and ideally we'll have schools within this program having in-person LANs and invitationals and whatnot. But as long as we were, as a Pac-12 or Pac-U, we're actually creating engagement opportunities, I think that was half the battle. So that's kind of where I would say, ideally, I don't know if you all have trepidations about what fall looks like, but I think you've done a pretty good job of keeping that foundation going. I feel like this has been a good conversation. I don't want to belabor it and draw us out to 90 minutes and have us all worn out. Maybe some feedback before we go, though. Has this been good to everybody? Is this something that we continue, maybe get more specific and tackle different topics each week? But I'm seeing in the chat right now, there's sort of a good back and forth about keeping connected and sharing out. Is this working for y'all? What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's been I've really enjoyed this discussion so far. It's really great to hear from other schools and other clubs to see what they're doing to try to get an idea for what our own clubs can do and reach out and connect with one another, like you were saying. See what sort of similarities and differences there are. And I think maybe going forward, a really important thing that you touched on is just talking about how will we start transitioning to semi-hybrid, starting to do some in-person events here and there, because I know that's after a year over, an entire school year and then some of doing everything online. The idea of how can we slowly start incorporating some in-person things or events safely, at least for our club, is a really big question. We're thinking maybe doing some lawn games and other stuff so people can socially distance that way. But hearing what other people have to think going forward, I think would be really beneficial.
Very cool. And then, is there something we missed that someone is dying to ask or interject? We didn't quite hear for everybody, and that's totally fine. But if anybody wants to introduce themselves, put an extra plug into something we missed, brag about your school, brag about how well you did in last week's tournament, whatever you want to do. I want to kind of open the floor for the next couple of minutes. Any extra comments, other questions, things that we want to put out there? Zoom is always awkward. It's everybody's quiet. It's are you quiet because you're? Are you there? So anyway, I'm feeling like we're kind of hitting a good point to sort of transition. So one last chance. Speak now. Raise your hand. Or I think we can just. I just want to say thank you all for coming. Hopefully you learned something. Have some fun as well. The background wars. I did not go unnoticed. I saw that. So
yeah, Andrew, you're bringing snacks next time for all of us.
That's right. I got you guys. No worries.
I didn't want to call Andrew out, but I saw you, so it's
so what?
So
that's what's good. Awesome. We have to have fun, right? We got to make this fun. That's what life's about. So
awesome.
Thank you guys for bringing the fun.
Yeah, no, thanks all. Thanks for participating. I'm going to say one last time. Any comments for the good of the order? If not, we'll pull the plug on this. I'll take this to note, and we'll take some notes on moving forward what the best format is for keeping in touch. Before we go, I'm horrible at networking and this kind of stuff. Is there a quick way we can exchange information? Because Zoom is sort of, once you leave, it disappears. Is there a way for you all to keep in touch based on tonight? Is there something we can do quickly to exchange emails? What's the best way for us to reach out afterwards?
Excuse me. I think, well, since we're UW Esports is kind of hosting this summit, we could drop our Discord, because Discord is the easiest way to communicate, and if everyone is in one server, then we can easily find each other, and we could also potentially give other schools a separate role.
Yeah.
And Trevor, everyone should be in the Pac-U server, so we could always.
So my gut is saying the next step would be to maybe create a student-focused channel on the Pac-U server that we can all use too. But until we have that, because I know some of you are on the Discord channel, but some of you came. I'm not even sure how you all got the message, but I'd like to make sure if you want to. So maybe, so long story short, Ray, if they join, they can join our Discord real quick and exchange. So join that Discord if you want to. So does this exchange ideas? That's how it works. I'm old. I don't know how Discord works very well.
Yeah, they can just. I linked the. Oh gosh, where is it? The Discord invite link in the chat.
Okay.
It's right above the twitch.tv/earwack message.
From Alex. Yeah, thanks, Alex.
Yeah, so y'all can just join that, and we'll work on giving everyone from different schools kind of like a separate role, just so we can remember you guys.
Okay. And then one last, before I close this out, if anybody wants to quickly share a link before we go, or we can, I'll leave it up for a few minutes. And we can just, exchange emails or whatever you guys do, whatever you kids do with your Discords and stuff. So going, I think we'll go ahead and end it then. Thanks, y'all. This is great. I had a good time. Let's keep in touch, and hopefully we'll do it again. Get more schools involved and get more structure. But I can see doing this a couple times a quarter at least, and just doing these summits and sharing out ideas. So good luck with the various stages of closing out the quarter and the year, and your various transitions as juniors and seniors and other classmen. And I hope you had a good luck with the rest of the year. Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for coming. Take care. Have a good night.
For having us.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'm going to get some Cheez-Its, Andrew. I'm ready for a snack.
Nice. All right, y'all. Thanks, Trayvon.
That was fun.
It was good. I think it was all right.
Yeah,
I
it
think
was
it
great.
went good. Yeah.
Me too.
I wish there was a better way to network. I wish there was like a way to share. I never know how to end these things with the networking thing.
No, I think it was cool to let people just post all their stuff. I think that's one thing to definitely do. To say, hey, as we're talking tonight, at the very end, we'll give you a chance to just post all your Twitters, your Discords, whatever, however you want.
I think if we want this to continue, I do think having a Discord channel on the Pac-U is really more general like this will be beneficial.
Me too. A place where all these people can go and kind of keep chatting.
Yep. And then we can just
and ask each other questions and stuff.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks for stopping in, and thanks for helping.
Fun.
All right.
All right. I will see you tomorrow, probably.
All right. Bye.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.